everybody. Welcome back to episode number 31 of Clicks and Bricks. My name is Ken. If you would like to join my community, 314-370-2871. Ask me any question, and I'll try to give you the best answer that I can. If you text that line, you'll be joining my text line community, and I'll send you tips and tricks and headline news, stuff like that. A lot of crypto news, a lot of website technology stuff, maybe some marketing and things like that. So it's a fun community. It's a good way to get some tips and tricks. Never try to sell you anything on that text line. Getting back to it, today's episode is brought to you by nlink.com. All your rapport made easy. My nlink account is nlink.com/Ken. Go to nlink.com and sign up for your profile before your name is taken. And on nlink.com, you can take it and then build your profile, and it's got all your social media profiles in one place. Really easy to use. And that way you don't have to, when you're promoting yourself, you don't have to give out, 5 different URLs. You can just give people your nlink account, and it links to all your social medias, including your business profiles like LinkedIn for Business and your Cash App and all those other things. So it's a really great platform. Today's episode is going to be talking about using Google and Facebook to market your business. So it's going to be way on the marketing side, not a little bit of technology, actually a lot of technology in today's marketing world. So we'll dive into that in just a minute. But today, between the cubicles, pretty exciting stuff. We've got a new Disney Plus show coming out, and it is the Marvel show called Loki, and it comes out tomorrow. By the time this show hits YouTube on the edited version, it will be a couple days old. So Loki comes out tomorrow on, what's today's date? What's the date tomorrow? On June 8th, 2020. Great reviews coming out about the first people that got to see the show. Loki is not my favorite character by far. Obviously, Hulk. Marvel Hulk is my favorite cartoon character of all time, or animated character, fictional character, I guess. Hulk and Optimus Prime are my 2 favorite characters. But Loki in the Marvel world and Hulk, my favorite Hulk is Gladiator Hulk from Marvel. So, not a huge fan of the Sony Hulks, but licensing rights are hard ones. So the first 2 episodes have gotten amazing reviews. I'm really excited about it. Disney Plus has not really driven it home for me at all. I did not care for what's the show that I don't care for, Nick? The WandaVision. I couldn't get past the 2nd episode. If you can't capture my attention in your first episode, you're not going to capture my attention. And it sucks because I've heard great things about WandaVision, but I can't get through the 2nd episode. It's so damn boring. So I hope that Loki gets to the point faster. Mandalorian, I thought, was the same way. It was just really, really boring. It's slow. The guy's just walking with a Baby Yoda forever. Baby Yoda's super cute, but man, the show just does not hold my attention. So I'm hoping that Loki holds my attention and that I fall in love with it. We'll see. Who knows? I did read that Loki. I don't know why this is important I'm assuming it is very important to a large section of the planet, but they revealed that Loki is gender fluid. So, which kind of makes sense because he can kind of change forms and pretend that he's other people and all that other stuff. So I could see him. I can see that in him. He has a lot of different characters wrapped up inside of his own head. So, interesting information. I'm not sure why Marvel did that. If they're just trying to capitalize on the LGBT community, or if they, really feel like that's important for the character. If it is important for the character, great. So be it. Move on with life. If they're just trying to capitalize, I don't know if I love that or not, but I mean, we all try to capitalize, so you got to do what you got to do. Moving on to Clicks and Bricks. The first question that we have is by Ali. Am I saying that right? A-L-L-I-E. Ali asks, when you're going to run a campaign, which do you personally prefer, marketing with Google or marketing with Facebook? I prefer Facebook over Google, and for one reason only. And I honestly believe that no campaign that you run is going to be a single source for your ads. So the reason I like Facebook over Google is because I can track my KPIs, my key performance indicators, much easier with Facebook than with Google. With Facebook, if I'm going to do an ad, especially, and I run ads for B2C and B2B. B2C, I think, is a lot easier. Business to consumer, it's a lot easier, specifically on Facebook. The reason I like Facebook ads better is that within the Facebook algorithm or within the Facebook system, I can create forms and I have a direct correlation between somebody that filled something out or somebody that saw my ad and then somebody that filled out a form, and it's within the Facebook ecosystem. So a user is much more likely to, with inside Facebook, to fill out a form and hit submit than they are to go from Google to a website to a form and then fill out. It's just more clicks, right? And inside of Facebook, if you have the lead capture form there, then you can capture that data right there. They don't have to fill out anything. They just hit the submit button. All their data that they filled out to join Facebook is already populated. So it's really simple for the lead campaigns. The other thing I like about Facebook is it's got a lot more functionality around it, right? I have more intentions around my Facebook ads. So if I want to make an ad for awareness, I can do a video view ad. It's a lot easier, I think, to build custom audiences inside of Facebook than it is inside of Google. And the retargeting is a lot easier inside of Facebook. So I like Facebook marketing over Google marketing. I think they're both valid and they both have their place. But Facebook, I think, just has more functionality built in, or at least more functionality built in for me. On the things that I use or the things that I know how to use, I definitely spend a lot more time on Facebook ads than I do on Google ads. So I hope that helped. But I at the end of the day, what do I personally prefer? I personally prefer a combination of both, and then outside of Google and Facebook, there's other platforms as well. So really take that for what you will. But Facebook is generally where I start if I want to capture a lead. Another thing I like about Facebook is that I can put my product right there. I can put the paywall up inside of Facebook. I can sell a product to a user inside Facebook and they never have to leave. And I think that people are spending their time on Facebook for leisure and they're spending their time on Google for research or work and things like that. So inside that Facebook ecosystem, it's really, really nice and contained. So those are just some of the things I like about the Facebook ads. So, and not to mention the countless number of demographic information that you can tie down inside of Facebook. I love birthday ads. I love anniversary ads. Hey, your wife's birthday is coming up. Hey, your husband's, and your anniversary is coming up. Those kinds of things you can't do inside of Google, but you can inside of Facebook. So I really like those kind of ads. They do very well. Moving on to question number 2. This one is from Nolan. Nolan asked us today, do you think you can successfully market B2B on Facebook? Or do you think B2C has more success? I touched on that in the last question already. B2C, business to consumer, is far, in my opinion, or my experience, is far more successful than business to business marketing inside of Facebook. Specifically for the direct intentions, or the direct correlations. However, inside of Facebook, I think awareness campaigns for B2B are important. If you think I hear this all the time, oh, my users aren't on Facebook. You're wrong. Almost everybody on the planet has a Facebook account, right? If you're on the internet, you might have a Facebook account. You might not use it actively, but there's a lot of people on Facebook, and they use it like Fox 2. It's Facebook and the internet is the TV and radio of 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So a lot of people are there. Your users, maybe not all your users, but there's at least a lot of your users that are there. On the B2B, how I focus on those is I market to Facebook groups that my business might have a direct correlation to. So Hosterian would advertise on the WordPress for Beginners page, right? Because we build websites with WordPress, or we help people with WordPress even. So that would be a great place to do that. And the groups are a great place to do it. So if I'm looking for, if I want to sell something to servers to crypto miners, right? I would be in a crypto miner group, and I would create a campaign for that specific group and push it out to them. So B2C is way easier, especially B2C with the anniversaries and birthdays is a no-brainer, right? Business to consumer, the anniversary ad and the birthday ads, just knock it out of the park. They're so simple to do, and they're just really easy. You can make them quickly. They don't have to be overly elaborate, and especially if your business has some kind of free offer or low-cost offer to get somebody in the door, this works fantastic for gyms. A gym ad that says, hey, your birthday's coming up next week, and we're giving you a 2-week free pass, right? Or something like that. Works phenomenally. Hey, man, your anniversary's coming up. Did you think about what you bought your wife? What are you going to buy your wife for Christmas or for your anniversary? And here it is. And then obviously all the holiday stuff. But getting people to buy stuff as a gift for other people is a fantastic way to market. You don't have to market to the direct individual. You market to their significant other, or when it's coming up for their birthday. If you want to buy yourself a birthday present, change your life, get this for your birthday, is a great way to go about it. So business to consumer is great. For B2B, obviously LinkedIn has got, that's where all the business people are, right? I don't know how much they're using LinkedIn for anything other than looking for a job or looking for prospects. It does seem pretty spammy today to me, but we'll see as time goes on how that goes, and we move forward from that. I'm not sure how many questions do we have today, Nick? Is it 6 questions today? Okay, great. This next question, I'm gonna look down because it's small. I can't see that far without really dialing in my trifocals. So Mark asks, I am currently running a campaign on Facebook for my restaurant that I recently opened. The goal of my campaign was to drive traffic to my website online menu. The campaign is not getting the website clicks that I had hoped after 1 week. Do you think I should pause the campaign and try and rework my target, or should I let Facebook algorithm continue to try and figure it out on its own? Great questions, and I think I would not use Facebook to drive traffic personally. If I was looking to drive traffic to a website, I would use Google. And to me, for a local restaurant, the number one thing to do to drive traffic for a local restaurant would be your Google My Business page. And your menu, the first thing that I would do if I was opening a restaurant is I would make sure my Google My Business page was all the way up to date. And I would make sure that my menu was on Google My Business, and I would make sure my menu is on Yelp, and I would make sure that they're consistent in both locations. Easy to do if you have the right tools, pain in the ass if you don't have the right tools. And if you want to talk about those tools, feel free to give us a call, and we can walk you through that. Google's going to drive traffic to your page. People don't like to leave the ecosystem of Facebook, at least in my experience. So if you're talking about a driving traffic campaign, you want people to go to your website, that's Google all day long. But I think the same thing holds true. If they don't have to leave Google, they'd rather not. So if you can get in the Google 3-pack or the snack pack, it's that very first section inside of Google. When you search for something, you have the very first 3 things, and they're in a square at the very top. Sometimes there might be 1 or 2 ads above them, but right below that is the Google 3-pack. Home run for any business that we've got in the Google 3-pack. It is the most affordable way to drive traffic, and it really just makes sure that your Google My Business page and that you have your directory listing set up correctly. It's not that hard to get in that Google 3-pack in your region, right? So when you're talking about restaurants near me, or more importantly, if you're a niche restaurant, you want to do seafood restaurant near me, that's even better, or even easier to get ranked up there, or steakhouse near me, those kinds of things. if you're doing it properly, it's really easy to get ranked in that 3-pack. Put your menu on there, and then why drive them to your website at all unless they want to make reservations or something like that. But even in Google, you can have the make a reservation button and drive them to your website to make the reservation. So if you're looking to drive traffic to your menu, I would get away from Facebook altogether and really focus my efforts on Google. If I was looking to get people in the door for something, I would use Facebook. So if you said, hey, if you're running a steakhouse and you're going to say, sign up for this promotion and we're going to pick a winner on Friday, and the winner's going to get a free pair of earbuds to promote your restaurant. Facebook would be the way to do that. Or if you'd say, click here to get 10% off your next meal when you come into the restaurant. They fill out the form, they get an email reply with the 10% off their next purchase. That drives them into the restaurant, right? So that's a technique that I would use for Facebook, would be getting them in the door, not driving them to the menu. I hope that answers your question, Mark. But if you want to talk about it, feel free to give us a buzz, and we can go over it in detail, really look at what you're trying to figure out, and go from there. I understand that you want to drive into your online menu, but your online menu on your website, you shouldn't care if it's on your website or if it's on Yelp or if it's on Google. The problem there, though, is keeping them all consistent, and that is a challenge without the right tools. So that's about all I can say. Today in Tech History, June 8th, 21. Let's see what today in Tech History is all about. June 8th, 1978, one processor to rule them all. I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. That's a cheesy-ass title. Intel introduces the 16-bit 8086 processor with clock speeds of 10, 8, and 5 megahertz. A family of processors would go to dominate the market. I'm a little, we don't know, are these multi-processors or single-use processors? We don't know. I don't know when the multi-use processor came out. It was a big deal, and I feel like I was older than 3 years old when the multi-use processor came out, right? But a 10, 8, and 5 megahertz processor isn't going to do a whole lot in today's world, right? Are you looking that up, Sam? Multi-core processor. But what about multitask processor? Right? Because like when I was a kid, I remember, and these are probably single-use processors, right? The processor can only do one job at a time. So you would ask it the math question and it would give it to you. Today I can have a browser up, I can have YouTube playing, I can do some other stuff, and I can run the calculator. But when I was a kid, I could run the calculator or I could play a game. I could only do one thing at a time, right? And I think Windows actually lets you do more than one thing at a time. So it's probably late 90s that multi-use processors come about, where you can do more than one task at a time. Having trouble finding it? All right, move on. So, but we get the 16-bit processors, 8086. Unfortunately, I was 3 years old, 1978. I don't know a lot about that technology. I'm assuming these were basic. Yeah, these were running C++, C++ kind of stuff, right? Very, very fundamental kind of processors that would basically do a bunch of math for you. So I wish I had a little more context about that article. But anyway, we'll move on to question number 4 today. So this one is from Jimmy. And I think, hey, Nick, can we start asking where these folks are from whenever we get their stuff? Get a little more information on them. In your opinion, is using Google Ads and analytics a must-do for all businesses, no matter what the size? Why or why not? I would say yes. I think you have to get into the habit of that. And I'll use a story that I heard just pretty recently about Wrigley gum, right? Wrigley gum in World War II, there was a gum shortage. I don't know if it was World War One or World War II. I don't know. But anyway, there was a gum shortage because we were getting a key component to making chewing gum from, I think it was the Philippines, but there was a trade issue going on and we couldn't get the raw materials to make the gum. So Wrigley's gum was a rare find in the grocery stores. We couldn't produce it in the States. But Wrigley continued to advertise even though you couldn't purchase the gum. And when he was asked why, and I'm paraphrasing this whole story, it was basically he said, gum's not going to go away and the war's going to be over at some point. And when the war's over, I want to be still on everybody's mind on the number one chewing gum of choice. So I think it's important for all business to advertise if you want to stay where you're at and or grow. If you're in a business and you've decided that your business is just a coasting business and you're going to run it until you retire and you don't need any more clients and you're okay with a specific amount of churn rate, you know what your churn rate is, then no, you don't have to. You're in a different position than most people. Most people, I think, want to grow their business. They want to do more business. So if you want to do more business, then Google Ads and analytics is a must do. At minimum, if you're in business, you should be in the Google Maps. You should have a listing. You should have a Google My Business page. Those are the minimums that you should have if you're doing any kind of business, because you want your customers to be able to find you. You want them to know what areas you're servicing, and you want them to know basically what you're doing, right? They're going to search your business online. I don't know of a single thing that I've purchased in the past 5 years that I didn't do some research online for it before I did it, right? If that's buying a used car, I looked at Kelly Blue Book to KBB.com. If it's buying, I do all my grocery shopping online now too. So, but if I'm looking for a new food, like, I'm getting off of pork and beef completely, so I'm moving to turkey. As I'm getting older, the doctor's telling me that's a thing that I have to do. So I'm literally researching, different turkey variations of stuff like that. So even the stuff that I'm eating is going, has Google searches involved with it. So if I'm going to try out a new restaurant or something like that, I mean, I'm getting pretty old, so I don't, just drive around town anymore like I did when I was 16 and find stuff. So I have to go somewhere and look for, hey, I'm looking for a new seafood restaurant or a new steakhouse or something like that. So I think it is a must do for all businesses, no matter the size. And then just the volume at which you do is really up to you. So Google Ads and Analytics, must do for everybody. How much you do it is really up to you. And I guess when I say ads, I'm thinking at the bare minimum, a Google My Business page, which costs you nothing but a little bit of time to get it together. And if you don't want to do it yourself, I think our service is a couple $100 to do your Google My Business page. You can probably find it for a little cheaper than we do it, and you can find it for a lot more money than we do it. But anyway, if you don't have a Google My Business page, you should get one. Absolutely. If you're running a business of any kind. So, Jimmy, I hope that helped a lot. Again, if you want to hit us up again, feel free to hit us up and we'll be happy to discuss those things with you further. Question number 5 for the day. Scott asks, I know that Google has retargeting capabilities. Does Facebook as well? If so, have you ever used Facebook retargeting? What was your opinion of it? They both have retargeting. They're both learning curves, to say the least, on learning how to do them. With Facebook, you have to have the Facebook pixel, and learning how to do that is a little bit challenging, but you'll have an aha moment, or at least most people have an aha moment whenever they're using the Facebook pixel. And then Google uses Google Analytics. So I think Google's actually, now that I know how to do the Google retargeting a little better, I think Google's a little bit easier to do than Facebook is, but that's really subjective. So inside Facebook, you get your Facebook pixel. Permissions for the Facebook pixel are a giant pain in the ass. It is so challenging to create the pixel, make sure that your team has rights to the pixel, getting it installed on the website, all that stuff. It's hurdle after hurdle to get there. But once it's in there and you go to create your custom audience, all you have to do is, so we're working on a WordPress support page or WordPress support campaign right now. And so we want to create an audience in Facebook that is anybody that's been to any of the pages at hosterian.com/WordPress anything, right? Because we've gone through and we've said, okay, if it's going to be a WordPress support package, we want WordPress in the name of the page. So we can create an audience of people that have been to those specific pages. We can have a whole list of pages, or we can do wildcards, and wildcards are anything that's like that specific phrase. So, and then from there, once you have that audience, then you can create ads to show to the people that have been to those specific pages. Inside Google, it's the same thing. You install the Google Analytics, and then they give you, the pages where people have been, and from there you can create a campaign based off, okay, people are going to this page. I can create a campaign and show people the next ad that have been to this page. The tactic that we use, or the strategy that we use at Hosterian generally, not all the time, is we'll use Google to drive traffic to a specific page that has specific intent, and then we'll use Facebook to retarget to those people. So they got to the website from a Google, how do I fix my WordPress issue, or fix my WordPress issue fast? They land on our Fix Your WordPress page now. And then on Facebook, they'll start getting 2 different kinds of ads from us. They'll get a Hosterian awareness ad, which is, what is Hosterian? What do we do? And they'll also get some ads about how to fix about our WordPress support packages. So using the 2 together, coupling them together is really, really strong. We're currently researching the same tactics, or the same strategies on Hulu and a couple of other platforms as well. So the 2 coupled together are phenomenal. They both have retargeting. The thing I like about Google is I don't think you're going to find a less expensive way to drive direct intent traffic to your website. So somebody's literally searching at, how do I fix my WordPress site, or local or gym near me, or restaurant near me, or hair cutting place near me. They're going to click somebody in that 3-pack almost every single time. So the Google 3-pack is a great way to do that. And people are looking for, how do I do this? How do I, fix my kitchen sink spout, right? If you're a plumber, I would make a video on how to do that and show them how to do it, because they're probably going to fail. They don't know how to do the plumber's tape properly, right? So make that video, drive the traffic to that video from Google. And then if they watch that video, then retarget them with the, hey, I'll fix your spout for $99, right? Give me a call today. It's a great strategy for using Facebook, getting that ad, and then actually for that tactic or strategy, I would not only retarget them on Facebook, but I'd also retarget them on YouTube at the same time. And one cool thing about Google is that YouTube ads and Google ads are all managed through the same interface. So that's pretty cool. Our last question of the day. Wow, we are rocking these. So I think we're moving Clicks and Bricks to 30 minutes now that it's just me. So new episodes will be about 30 minutes long. And so we'll just rock through them. Hopefully you're getting more of your questions answered quickly. Bonus question number 6 is, Rob asks, what is the last thing you bought from a Facebook ad? Do you buy things from Facebook ads often? I buy the stupidest shit from Facebook ads. And I have, if you know me well, I have a lot of different little hobbies and things that I do. So internet, cryptocurrency, and boxing are my main hobbies, but my next hobby is prepping. So I do buy a lot of weird stuff like bulletproof hoodies and these. I'm a sucker for any kind of shovel that breaks down into a small little bag that I can break out, or any kind of tool. I'm just a sucker for all that shit. So, if it's midnight or 11 o'clock and I'm sitting on the couch on a Friday night and I've partaked in some of my extracurricular activities and I see something really cool on Facebook, you better damn well believe I'm buying it. One thing that I've learned recently, though, and this actually, I'm going to tell you this, Shopify has nailed it with their Facebook ads, with the code that they send you and you just pay for it right there. Really easy for people to buy from you. The other thing that I really like is if you can integrate Stripe into your process. If you're using Stripe and you're running an ad and somebody's used Stripe before through the Facebook ad, they can just click a button. They don't have to type in their credit card or anything. They've probably saved the credentials. I would say the same thing with PayPal. So make it as easy as possible for your buyer to buy from you. Don't make them go through a whole bunch of hoops. Whatever you got to do that, push through and make sure that that happens for your end user, for you and your family. Make that buying process as super simple as possible. Yeah, I buy stupid stuff on Facebook ads on a regular basis. The things that I buy the most of are prepper stuff, like prepper tools, shovels, fire starters, bulletproof vests, pants that are great for, in the water, waterproof pants. And then I buy a lot of stuff for autism. So autism, sensory toys and things like that for my son. I buy a lot of those things just because they help him, in his daily life. So, and I'm willing to try anything that helps my son in his daily life. Those are the things that I buy on Facebook ads. I do not generally purchase stuff for my business through Facebook ads, but I do save things and I share them with colleagues, and then I research that business later. But I don't generally, on a B2B purchase, make a fast purchase. I would say the last fast purchase that I made, and it was a good purchase, and I bought it for Nick, or I didn't buy it for Nick, but I bought it to help Nick, was I saw a Facebook ad for damngoodcontent.com, and I bought it. It was $20 a month, I think, something like that. It's a great tools. It was very affordable, but I saw the Facebook ad and I did purchase that. I would say that was my last B2B kind of purchase, and it's worked out well for us. We use Damn Good Content on a regular, I think I probably use it daily. Is that accurate, Nick? Every other day. So out of a 30-day month, we use it 15 times. So it was a great purchase. Again, it was affordable. The checkout process was super simple. I got immediate gratification. They sent it back to me. So if you can do that, if you can put the paywall up on your Facebook ad and make it super easy for your guy to buy or your client to buy, that's a home run all day long. So, all right, I think that's it for Clicks and Bricks today, guys, everybody. If you want to reach out to me, 314-370-2871 is my text line community. So happy to have you here. I hope you enjoyed the show. Feel free to email me. Sam will put my stuff up on the bottom of the screen right now. He's got new technology. It's so much fun. And send me an email, send me a text message. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, I'm happy to answer them for you. And that's it for today's show, guys. Get to work.